So now we're going to be looking at perpendicular bisectors. What does it mean to bisect something? It means that you're dividing something into two equal parts. So first of all, a perpendicular bisector, it's a line that bisects another line. So if this is my line, to figure out where it's bisecting it, what would I have to find? Midpoint, right? Good. So we know that a perpendicular bisector is going to be directly in the middle of another line segment. And to mean that it's perpendicular, it's a line that is drawn how? How do you know if it's perpendicular? It has a 90-degree angle. Okay? So this right here, the orange line, is a perpendicular bisector. It's a line that is drawn directly in the middle of another line and is perpendicular to it. How do you know if two lines are perpendicular? So again, back to grade 9. If I tell you the slope of my black line is, let's say, I don't know, 4/3, let's say, what would the slope of the orange line have to be if it was perpendicular? -3/4. Perpendicular lines, their slopes are negative reciprocals. That means that if one is positive, the other one has to be negative, and then it's a reciprocal. You flip it around. Well, I'm giving you a line segment. These are the coordinates of the line segment. I didn't graph it, but you can graph it on your own. I want you to find an equation of a perpendicular bisector. Perpendicular bisector. And we know that a perpendicular bisector is a line. So it's, again, it has to be in the form y equals mx plus b. Well, what's the first thing we need to do to figure out where this line will be located? Yes? We have to find the midpoint. We know that it has to hit somewhere in between these 2 points. In the middle, sorry. It has to be in the middle of these 2 points. We know that the midpoint will be located halfway between our x coordinates, so 1 plus 5 divided by 2, and halfway between our y coordinates, 8 plus 2 divided by 2. Where is this midpoint located? What is the coordinate of this midpoint? Okay, 3, 5. This is where the midpoint is located, and if you have it on your graph, you can visually see that. We know that the equation of this perpendicular bisector is going to pass through this point, right? And it's got to be perpendicular to AB. Well, in order to figure out if it's perpendicular, we have to figure out the slope of AB first, right? Because we know that the slope of my bisector will have a negative reciprocal. Okay, so we can use the slope formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, let's write it in lowest terms, just so it's easier to work with. What's -6/4 in lowest terms? -3/2. Okay, so we know the slope of AB, which was the original line. It has a slope of -3/2, which means, what does the slope of the perpendicular bisector have to be? +2/3, exactly. Okay, so we know that the slope, I'm just going to put perp bisector. Okay, this is the information we know about the perpendicular bisector. We know that it has to have a slope of +2/3 because it's a negative reciprocal of AB. And is there anything else you know about the perpendicular bisector? Is there any other information we found about it? We know that it passes through the point 3, 5. Okay, this is a point that lies on the perpendicular bisector, correct? Well, the whole point of this was we needed to know the equation of the perpendicular bisector. We know M. Do you know x and y? Can you find B? Okay, so we plug in our values, we plug in our x and our y, and we plug in the slope, isolate B. So 5 equals, what's 2 times 3? over 3 times 1. We can simplify this. What's 6 divided by 3? B equals, what do I do with this positive 2? Bring it over to the other side. It becomes negative 2. What's 5 take away 2? B equals 3. So therefore, what is the equation of this line, of this perpendicular bisector? Y equals 2 over 3x plus 3. And that's the equation.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.